Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to show you how to drop your suspension without using spring compressors. Now, it is recommended that you do use spring compressors, however not all of us have them. So this is a way you can drop your suspension in basically any vehicle without the need of the spring compressors. Now, I recommend be very safe with this, but can be done. So every car is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to display it today on my 1M here. I've got some KWs in here that need to be adjusted slightly. I've got a bit of a creak coming from the strut top, so I just need to pull that out and assess. But it's really straightforward how to do this. Okay, all you really need to do from the other side is disconnect your end link here. Okay, and then you want to support your whole shock assembly plus your hub and your brake and everything with something from the bottom end. So I like to use a jack with a large pad, and generally speaking I will compress it from here or the control arm directly underneath, and that tends to be directly in line with the shock itself, so giving it a relatively central position. That is probably the safest way. I like to do it. You can use a plank of wood and everything like that, but I use a larger than a hockey puck size rubber pad, which gets the most amount of grip and just holds the brake force, not the brake force, sorry, the spring force down from the top of the spring. So ideally what we are doing is we're going to compress it up slightly and then disengage the bolts up top, just depending on what you have, like 13, 15, 16 mil, whatever bolts you have up the top. And then you will slowly release your jack, which will unload the pressure down from the spring, and then you will be able to pull your whole spring assembly out in one go. But I'll show you that from the top as well. So this is my jack, and this is my pad that I like to use, which is quite a hefty, durable pad. It's up there. Unfortunate, I've got a hoist that I use, but this can be done on jack stands, and I've done it plenty of times. So with that jack, we are going to mount under the brake or under the control arm, and from up top we will disconnect the main 21mm bolt with a counter hold down first, and then we will release the three 13mm nuts, so just it all compresses evenly. So at this point, like I said, I've undone the larger 21mm nut, counter held with a 10mm, and like a little shifter as well. So we've released the tension on the actual spring itself, and the way to safeguard this is I like to do these three bolts last, as they are still also holding the compression of the spring, and I've got the jack holding the underside, and I've got it mounted hard up against my brake and my caliper. Now you have to be really careful with the brake when you do it this way, is the disc is free spinning, so you want to make sure, and I've just put a little chock behind my jack to stop that slipping back as well. So this way you've sort of still got tension up the top and down the bottom, and you can slowly release it in stages. So what I do next is I slowly release each of these. All right, so there's still always tension on one of the nuts, and once they are fully released, I will disengage the jack, and that will slowly just lower the whole spring assembly down, which I'll show you in a sec. And here we are. So it is fully removed from the top side. The spring is no longer under compression anymore. This is all loose up there. there. So the spring is completely released, and we've got no tension on the brake as well. We are still connected by the control arm at the moment. You just want to make sure there's no line. So I've disconnected my brake lines here. Okay, so there's no lines under load as well. This isn't very safe. Ideally, I'd say use 2 people, but it can be done by 1 person here as well. So now I'm just going to get a block to support the bottom side and show you how to pull out the full spring assembly as well in a sec. Okay, so there we have it. So I've just taped up my guard because I don't want my lovely Valencia orange paintwork getting damaged, but that is essentially how you pull the spring and assembly out without needing spring compressors. And now, because there's no tension, everything just comes off very, very easily. I need to replace this. I think mine are a bit worn, the bearings inside. I'm getting a bit of knocking, so I needed to do this quickly for myself. But now the spring can move and come out of tension without using the compressors. I'd say always tape up much as you can. If you have a second pair of hands, you know, that helps quite a lot, but as 1 person you can do it as well. I've supported my caliper on the pad as well with a bit of tension from the jack, so there's no strain on my brake lines or anything like that, and they're comfortable because I don't want those to pop anytime soon. But yeah, this is how you can quickly do it. I'm going to do it over the other side now as well, and this took maybe 15 minutes, so 15 minutes either side. It's pretty straightforward, not really that hard, but I would recommend, as you're dropping it, always have tension from the base and the top, and slowly work step by step to release even amount of tension all the way until the end, which is where you release your jack down, because that's your final moment of tension that gets released from the spring. So yeah, really straightforward. Just follow that and it's not that hard. All the best.